In an era of global tension, where nations are on edge and the threat of conflict looms large, one event could change humanity forever: a nuclear war. The aftermath of such an unthinkable catastrophe would be unimaginable. Today, we'll delve into the devastating reality and the lasting impacts of a post-nuclear world. From the immediate destruction to the long-term environmental and societal consequences, we'll explore how life on Earth would be irrevocably altered. The immediate aftermath of a nuclear detonation is defined by destruction. At ground zero, temperatures would exceed millions of degrees, vaporizing everything. A shock wave would obliterate structures and lives within miles. Survivors further away would face radioactive fallout, which contaminates air, water, and soil. Inhaling or consuming radioactive particles could lead to radiation sickness, causing nausea, burns, and organ failure. One nuclear bomb detonated over a major city could kill hundreds of thousands in an instant and leave many more to suffer long-term health effects. Survivors' stories reveal the harrowing reality of living through such an event. Many recount the immediate chaos, the loss of loved ones, and the struggle to find safety. Scientists have studied the long-term effects of radiation exposure, noting increased cancer rates, genetic mutations, and environmental damage. Despite the devastation, communities often come together to rebuild, showing resilience and hope in the face of unimaginable destruction. But the destruction wouldn't stop there. Nuclear explosions would ignite massive firestorms, sending ash and soot into the stratosphere. This would block sunlight, leading to what scientists call nuclear winter. Global temperatures could plummet, disrupting agriculture and leading to famine. Researchers estimate that even a small-scale nuclear conflict could cause a drop in temperature by 1.3 degrees Celsius, reducing food production by up to 20%. According to a Rutgers University study, billions could face starvation within 2 years of a large-scale nuclear conflict. Historical examples like Hiroshima and Nagasaki show the immediate devastation, but the long-term environmental impact could be far worse. Experts warn that the resulting nuclear winter could last for years, drastically altering the climate and ecosystems. Wildlife would also suffer, with many species facing extinction due to the harsh conditions. The impact would be global, affecting every continent and disrupting life as we know it. The aftermath of a nuclear war would be a world unrecognizable, with humanity struggling to survive in a drastically changed environment. Society as we know it would collapse. Governments and infrastructure would be overwhelmed. Food, medicine, and clean water would become scarce. Mass migrations would lead to overpopulated refugee camps, increasing the spread of diseases. Desperation could drive people to violence, further unraveling social order. After Hiroshima and Nagasaki, survivors, or hibakusha, faced immense trauma and stigma. Imagine this on a global scale. Historical parallels like the Great Depression show how economic collapse can lead to political unrest. Political ramifications could include the rise of authoritarian regimes and civil unrest. The global scale of destruction would lead to international conflicts and widespread chaos. The long-term effects of radiation are devastating. Cancer rates would skyrocket among survivors, leading to a public health crisis. Ecosystems poisoned by fallout would take decades, if not centuries, to recover, affecting food chains and agriculture. Even regions far from the blasts would suffer from contaminated air and water, leading to respiratory illnesses. Wildlife might adapt over time, but biodiversity loss would be inevitable, disrupting entire ecosystems. Experts warn that the psychological trauma and genetic mutations could affect generations to come. In the wake of nuclear war, global power dynamics would shift dramatically. Nations with the resources and distance from conflict zones might become new superpowers, while others could collapse entirely. Rebuilding would take generations. Economies would shrink, and technological progress could stagnate. Yet some argue that humanity's resilience and ingenuity might eventually overcome even this catastrophe. Some experts believe small communities could preserve knowledge and rebuild civilization, but only after decades of hardship. Geopolitical landscapes would be reshaped, with new alliances forming and old ones dissolving. Global trade would be severely disrupted, leading to shortages and economic instability. However, the drive for survival could spur technological innovations and new ways of living. Communities would need to adapt to new realities, focusing on sustainability and self-sufficiency. Education systems would be crucial in passing down knowledge and skills to future generations. Social structures would evolve with a greater emphasis on cooperation and mutual aid. Ultimately, the world would emerge transformed, with new power centers and a redefined global order. Fortunately, this is a future we can prevent. Efforts like arms control treaties, nuclear disarmament campaigns and diplomatic resolutions are critical to avoiding such devastation. As individuals, we can raise awareness and pressure leaders to prioritize peace. The best way to survive a nuclear war is to ensure it never happens. The future is in our hands. Look at the success of past disarmament efforts, like the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. You can contribute by joining peace organizations, participating in rallies, or even spreading awareness online. Together, we can build a safer, more peaceful world for future generations. Throughout history, nuclear events have left an indelible mark on global politics and public perception. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 not only ended World War II, but also showcased the devastating power of nuclear weapons. The immediate aftermath saw cities reduced to rubble and a staggering loss of life, leading to a global outcry for disarmament. Fast forward to the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, a perilous moment in history that brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. Over 13 tense days, the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a high-stakes standoff that highlighted the fragile balance of power during the Cold War. The crisis was a stark reminder of the catastrophic potential of nuclear conflict and led to significant diplomatic efforts to prevent future escalations. These events have profoundly influenced international relations and public opinion. The fear of nuclear annihilation has driven nations to seek treaties and agreements aimed at reducing the nuclear threat. However, the shadow of these historical events still looms large, reminding us of the importance of vigilance and diplomacy in maintaining global peace. Understanding these pivotal moments in history helps us appreciate the delicate balance we navigate today. It underscores the need for continued dialogue and cooperation to ensure a safer world for future generations. As we move into the future, the advancements in nuclear technology present a dual-edged sword. On one hand, the development of more sophisticated nuclear weapons poses a significant risk. Modern nuclear arsenals are more powerful and precise than ever, raising concerns about their potential use in conflicts. The threat of nuclear proliferation remains a critical issue, with more countries acquiring the technology and materials needed to develop nuclear weapons. This escalation could lead to a more dangerous and unstable world, where the risk of a nuclear confrontation is ever present. While the risks associated with nuclear technology are significant, the international community has made concerted efforts to mitigate these dangers through various treaties and agreements. One of the most notable is the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, or NPT, which came into effect in 1970. The NPT aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote peaceful uses of nuclear energy, while also working towards nuclear disarmament. Another critical agreement is the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, or CTBT, which prohibits all nuclear explosions for both civilian and military purposes. Although it has not yet entered into force, the CTBT has established a strong norm against nuclear testing and has been signed by 185 countries. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, or START, and its successor, New START, are bilateral agreements between the United States and Russia that aim to reduce and limit strategic offensive arms. These treaties have led to significant reductions in the number of deployed nuclear warheads and their delivery systems. Additionally, regional treaties such as the Treaty of Tlatelolco, which established a nuclear weapon-free zone in Latin America and the Caribbean, and the Treaty of Pelindaba, which did the same for Africa, contribute to reducing the global nuclear threat. Despite these efforts, challenges remain. The effectiveness of these treaties often depends on the political will of the signatory countries and their commitment to compliance. Verification and enforcement mechanisms are crucial to ensure that all parties adhere to their obligations. The international community must continue to work together to strengthen these agreements and address emerging threats. By doing so, we can move closer to a world free of the dangers posed by nuclear weapons. As we look to the future, the specter of nuclear weapons continues to loom large. Potential scenarios involving these devastating weapons range from accidental launches and regional conflicts to full-scale nuclear war. However, by examining these scenarios, we can better prepare and strategize to prevent such outcomes. Technologically, advancements in missile defense systems and artificial intelligence can play a crucial role in detecting and neutralizing threats before they escalate. Enhanced early warning systems and automated defense mechanisms can provide a vital safety net against accidental launches or unauthorized use of nuclear weapons. Politically, international diplomacy and continued dialogue are essential. Strengthening existing treaties and agreements while also working towards new ones can help create a robust framework for nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. It is imperative that nations engage in transparent communication and confidence-building measures to reduce misunderstandings and build trust. Socially, public awareness and education about the dangers of nuclear weapons can drive grassroots movements and pressure governments to take action. Civil society organizations, advocacy groups, and concerned citizens can all play a part in pushing for a world free from the threat of nuclear annihilation. By fostering a culture of peace and promoting the values of cooperation and mutual respect, we can create a global environment where the use of nuclear weapons becomes unthinkable. In conclusion, while the threat of nuclear weapons is a formidable challenge, it is not insurmountable. Through a combination of technological innovation, political commitment, and social activism, we can work towards a safer, more secure future for all. The path ahead requires determination and collaboration, but the goal of a nuclear-free world is one worth striving for.